I'm Ginny Just.
And I'm Beth Soboloff, and we're
Two Grannies on the Road.
Welcome to Two Grannies on the Road. This is our first show with PAC TV. This summer we've been planning for the new season, as well as getting trained on equipment, software in the studio here.
Yeah, we're hoping to bring our perspective on the challenges the baby boomers face to the Plymouth, Pembroke, Duxbury, and Kingston communities, and tell the stories of baby boomers who have reinvented themselves in order to inspire others to live their dreams.
Today we're speaking with Susan Rooks, also known as the Grammar Goddess. Susan has been teaching American grammar, business writing, and a variety of interpersonal things for 20 years. Her goal is to help others relearn some of the skills they need to succeed in business. Susan, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great.
So tell us about your work history and what you used to do before you were the Grammar Goddess.
Back in the day, I was a secretary. Honestly, secretary. And of course, over the years, you got better titles. I ended up as an executive assistant at Grossman's, and then Grossman's became nothing. It stopped being a company. And I had to transition from that to something new, and I had no idea what. But my husband at the time found an ad in the Sunday Globe that said, trainers wanted. If you want to work for the best and the biggest international seminar firm, talk to us. I had no idea why he wanted me to do that. But I thought, you know what, let me go in and find out. I drove into Somerville, that's where they were holding auditions, scared to death. There are no words. Terrified. Found Somerville, that was good. What was interesting is that my time slot was, I'm going to call it 11 o'clock. There was nobody there except me and the guy that was interviewing. And I was early. He finally said, why don't you come in and do it? I went, yes, let me do it because I'm scared. I've seen my video, trust me, it was horrible. But when I finished, there was also nobody waiting for the next slot. So he and I talked. And 2 weeks later, I got a call and they said, what would you like to teach? Computers or budgeting? Ooh. I wasn't really excited about either one of them, to be honest with you. But no. I did hear the subtext, which was very simple. These are what we have. Do you want them? So I thought, I'll try the budgeting. What the heck? I majored in accounting. Bad idea. Second day out, I got nailed by a guy who knew a whole lot more than I did. In public, he stood up and yelled at me and told me I was the worst presenter he'd ever seen.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. At noon, I went back. I called the company, and they said, we have another couple of weeks for you on this topic. I go, no, sorry, no, not happening. Not good. What would you do if you could? I said, I don't know, women's topics, all taken. All right, how about that grammar thing? You'd do grammar? I honestly thought it would be easy. I really did. I've been reading since I was 2. I have a good vocabulary. Words come easily. I thought, sure, how hard could it be? It actually went very well for about 6 months. I guess I fooled everybody. But I have a guardian angel who sent me a woman, an English teacher, who was in the audience. Now, these are 6-hour seminars. I couldn't have done what she did. I could not have lasted an hour and a half with me up front. At the end of the day, she came to me and she said, dear, oh, you were so good. I enjoyed your presentation. And I'm floating. I have to tell you, I am just happy. I'm thinking, oh, bless your heart, thank you. She says, I had made a few notes. Maybe you'd like to see them when you go back to your hotel room. A couple of things you might want to. Sure. I went back to the hotel room, I opened it up, and the workbook bled red. It's the old adage that we use red ink, right? This thing bled, it was red everywhere. Here's the difference. When the man stood up and yelled at me about the accounting, all I could do was agree with him because I didn't care. I honestly didn't care if it was up or down, left or right, big or small. I really didn't. I should have, but I didn't. This bugged me. How can somebody so smart, who's been reading for so long, know so little? So I took the Chicago Manual of Style and the Gregg Reference Manual, and I looked up every darn thing that she wrote that I did wrong. Wow. It took a while, but I did transition to being the Grammar Goddess thanks to that, because we had 800 numbers we used to call in study groups, and I kept giving the right answers once I learned from this woman. And one day somebody said, you are so good, you're the Grammar Goddess among us. And I went, hang on to that thought, because that could be a good one. And from working with Fred Pryor for 5 years, at the end of 5 years, most of us were moving on to our own work, preferring not to do the wide range of everything. I just wanted to focus on the things I had become pretty good at. And that was the beginning of the 20-year saga of doing this one thing.
So that's how you made the transition.
Yeah, made it. I didn't expect it. I wasn't planning it. It was one of these, I'll go this way, and life took me this way and then took me back. That's okay. And now I'm the grammar goddess, and I do teach those courses.
And it's been 20 years.
20 years, 1995, I went to work for Fred Pryor. I've always been grateful that I was able to do that, and my husband actually saw that huge ad in the paper.
Serendipitous.
Yeah,
It was. It was meant to be.
So what challenges did you face with actually going into business for yourself? Because you were great at grammar, but running a business is a lot different.
It proved to be. I was stunned to find out that the world didn't know about me, and this is before social media was really big.
Right.
What I did was talk to a few people in companies that I had worked at and just said, I'm going to be going out on my own. If I find a client that's interested in me, would you give me a reference? And many of those people said, absolutely, we will do that, because we've enjoyed having you here at our company through Fred Pryor. We would be happy to suggest that they would be, smart to hire you. And given that corporate training doesn't, you don't have to work the same way as 9 to 5. One day of training pays enough normally to make it worth going in. So I would do a day or two a week on my own stuff. And bit by bit, the word got out, and then social media hit. And inch by inch, people learned that I do one thing pretty well. I teach American grammar of all the things in the world. Think about that.
Well, many of us have seen examples on Facebook of grammar and spelling errors that show up on signs all over the place. We have a couple of samples here, and I wanted to get your take on them.
Okay. Oh yes, we buy used cars. Now, buy is a perfectly good word. It's just the wrong one. It should have been the B-U-Y version, not the B-Y-E, which is one of the issues with spell check when you're writing.
Right.
It doesn't pick that up.
It will not. It only knows one thing. I'm holding
word.
2 fingers. It knows one thing. It knows how to spell. Doesn't tell you if you used the right word or not.
Is that a common one that people get wrong, or is that?
I don't see that as much, but there are
yeah.
some others that I think we have coming up that are, and I'll mention a couple afterwards.
Let's look at the next one.
Yeah. The third bullet point there, must pick up defecation by owners. Okay. You might want to start that one with owners must pick up the defecation of their dogs. It's awkward writing. It happens a lot because when we write, we know what we mean. And unless we have somebody looking over our shoulder, or we give it to them and say, Ginny, read this for me, and giggle, and I'm thinking, why are you laughing at me? We may want to use humor, but I don't think anyone intended it here. No. What's
Okay,
our
next.
one?
Okay.
Okay, employees must wash hands before living. Maybe before leaving? Yes, washing hands is a good idea, and living is a perfectly good word. Just not the right one for this.
I guess that's more like a typo, but that's one of those things too that wouldn't be picked up if you were doing that, let's say on a Word document or something.
Never.
Yeah.
No.
It wouldn't pick it up.
And even grammar check, which a lot of folks will use, doesn't always pick things up like that, and it often will pick up things that are perfectly okay. I do suggest to people, use spell check, but respect its limitations. Don't use grammar check unless you're someone like me. It's not worth it, because you can't blame the program for what you weren't able to figure out. So living, good word. Wrong word, but a good word. I know.
Perfectly good word, not in the right, in a different place.
Yep.
What's the next one?
Okay, yes, lock your car or loose it. Here is one everybody messes up. They really do. Here's my take. Loose rhymes with goose. If that's what you've written, I want your head to say loose goose. I didn't want loose, I wanted lose. And lose has lost and O. So lose and lost are pretty much the same word with the last letter
that's
different.
a great...
Yeah, lose and lost, and loose as a goose. And
Loosey-goosey.
loosey-goosey, that's even better. And I don't make these up. I don't have to. After 20 years of teaching, people will say, I've got a great idea for how that... Thank you. I don't have to make it up. People are eager to share how they've learned things like loose and lose, so that they don't look not as smart as they are.
Okay, next one. Oh, this one kills me because you know
pain.
what? It's an educational ad.
That's the double pain of it. It's the word there are 3 of them. They all start with THE, which is fine, but there are 3, and they're tough, because unless you learn at least 2 of them, you're going to make that kind of error. When it's an educational one, that just breaks my heart. And most people who read it think, oh no, that's bad. You know, where was it? They're learning. It should be the THEY''re. They are learning. So what can I say?
And if I see that ad, that's going to make me not buy from that company.
Right.
Right.
Automatically, you figure if you can't do this one, you know the joke, you only had one job? You had one job. Fail.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Nothing under 5 if you don't like, too bad. Again, 2, 2, and 2, the 3 homophones. TWO, the number 2, 2, where you're going, I'm going to do something, and then TOO, meaning extra, additionally, also. And that one should have been,
I see that wrong
TOO.
all the time.
so do I, all the time.
Do you have a trick for knowing which one you're supposed to use?
Most people can figure out TWO. Take that
Right.
off the table. It's kind of like those home shows, you know, which one of these 3 wouldn't you buy? Okay, don't want this one. Learn one of the other 2 cold. Learn either TO or TOO. I don't care which one, but know it when you need it. And if it isn't that one, it's the other one. Which beats throwing them up in the air all 3 and thinking whichever one lands is the one I'm going, you know. It's hard. And none of this is about people being dumb, because that's not it. It's about not knowing this one narrow world that I'm good in, grammar, and not seeing it. They're smart everywhere else, but this one thing, and that makes them look less than smart. Do we have any more?
I think that's the last
Oh,
one.
okay.
Isn't that enough? I mean,
Oh, we could do this all day.
there were so many when I was doing research. It was really sad.
Well, that's why I do the Friday posts and humor, and I'm not beating on people for it, because honestly, when I do proofreading or editing for people, I am amazed at what they know. I read and I just sit and think, you know that? You know fractals? You know rocket science? You know how to put a website together? You know graphic design? I don't know what you do. I know the outline. We all do. We get that. But what you do and how you do it? No, I'm not laughing at people. I'm just laughing at the results of somebody making a mistake. And yeah, to me it's kind of funny, and it's sad. People try. They try really hard to get it right. So my thought is, have somebody else read something you've written. Have somebody who knows that world of grammar read something you've written, if it's a really important thing.
Well, as a graphic designer, I run into that too. I'm working on a piece and I'm typing it, so I'm going to make the same mistake proofing it.
Yeah.
Always have somebody else proof it.
Always, even I do, because when I've posted an article on any of the platforms, once in a while somebody sends me, luckily, a private message. It is not fun to publicly shame anybody, even though the gotcha with me is more fun than most. And just say, Susan, you know you left a word out. Did I now? Because it's my stuff.
Yeah.
I read it fast, and I said send or publish or whatever. No, you always need someone else
Yeah.
to read it carefully for you. So those are fun, as long as they weren't our errors.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Not at
Seriously.
our own expense.
Yeah.
So we don't think of the world, at least I don't think of the world of grammar much as changing over the years. Have there been grammatical rules that have changed?
There are a couple. One of the ones that people think was a rule, and it never was a rule, is you couldn't end with a preposition such as the word with. Who are you going with? That was never a grammar rule. It was a social rule. It was one of these, someone made it up, and the world took it to storm and thought, we need to do that this way. You can't just say who you're going with. You have to say with whom are you going. Oh yeah, that's going to stop every conversation cold. It doesn't work. And it was never an honest rule. Lately, hyphens are going away. Email used to be hyphenated. It's killing me. I'm doing it without it. It was electronic mail. When you shortened it down to email, fine. Website was two words capitalized. Now it's one word not capitalized. World, internet is still a proper noun. It is still capitalized. But that may also change.
Yeah.
The books are still saying, all the grammar books, it's a proper noun. But so was website. Luckily, grammar doesn't change that fast. Not like some of the things. I mean, web design and other things of that sort, with all of the technology that we have, that changes quickly.
Oh, yes.
Much more so. You've really got to be up on it. This is a little easier. But we don't talk the way Romeo and Juliet did. So
That's
grammar
true.
and English has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Foreign words creep in, and we sometimes change their pronunciation. Some of the French words we may change, but yes, it changes, just not terribly quickly. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Give us a break.
Well, it's time for our road trip. This time we visited Buzzards Bay, just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and Susan's recent home. Take a look.
Susan, you were also involved in BNI, which is Business Network International, for a number of years. And you've done a lot of networking and met a lot of business owners. What challenges do you see baby boomers facing in the business world?
I think I see fewer than we would have seen 20 or 30 years ago, because we boomers aren't aging as fast as it seems that our parents did. Start with that thought. When I saw my parents in 50, 60, 70, they did seem much older. People retired at 60 or 65 and then went and did very little of anything. Went and played golf, went and rested, went and just did not much. We boomers are a whole other breed. We're saying, yes, I'm 60, yes, I'm 70, so what? So what? Seriously, so what? If we're lucky, we have something of a pension. If we're lucky, we have some funds to help us. But I think our biggest challenge is staying relevant in a world that is really moving fast. And honestly saying, I can still do this. The number I have assigned to me, I can't get rid of it, but it doesn't define me. And I do have some friends who've said, you know, I just want to lie around for the next 30 years and do nothing. And my thought is, I would just die. I want to continue to do what I do because I see no reason not to. I'm not out running marathons. I'm not breaking rocks in the hot sun. I am teaching, but I still love what I do. And I think boomers, more of us are seeing that we can do this for another 10 or 15 or 20 years. Our parents didn't expect to live to be 100. They expected to live to be 60, 70, 80. That was old. We look at it and think, you know what? If I'm healthy, I could be 100. What do I do now? So I think the biggest challenge for us is recognizing we are still vital. We are still relevant, even in a fast-paced technological world.
And you know, a lot of those big boomers that say, I'd like to sleep for 30 years or whatever, after 6 or 8 months, they go, oh my God, this is boring.
But it is. If you've lived and you've been doing things, I think the greatest challenge we have is to figure out what to do. Some of us think, I do that, I do this. What is it you would do if you could? And then go figure that out, because we have a lot to offer, even if it's nothing more than, it's an unfortunate phrase, volunteering. We have such gifts to give.
Yes.
We have looked at things, we've lived through things. We're not saying we should do it the way we used to, but we've seen the flow of life, the time. And we have an awful lot to offer in many realms. So I think the biggest challenge is get off your butt and go do something. Go live a life.
But you've talked mostly about attitude and what your attitude is, which is great, is I'm going to keep going for another 20 or 30 years. Yes, I am. But what about the way the rest of the world sees you? I mean, I know both of us started to see instances where we felt like people were looking at us as, you have gray hair, what do you know about websites? Have you noticed any of that at all in your, maybe in your profession? You don't see it as much?
When I teach, and I do teach to a lot of people our age, all the way down to the millennials. I mean, when I go into a company, it's whatever group of 15 or so they'll give me that need to remember or relearn or learn American grammar. I know they see a gray-haired woman. I get that. And I ask them very quickly, do you want your reputation to be solid, your professional reputation to be solid? And the answer is yes. I said, okay, here's my quiz. It's 8 questions. That's all it is. If you can walk out of here and get them all right, and then tell me why, then I'll excuse you from this and we'll admit that, you know, you don't need my help. 15 years, nobody's ever done that because they can't tell me why. And the why is important for almost anything. It's not that the rule exists. It's the reason for the rule. And at that point, I think I convert a lot of people into saying, well, if she's got gray on top, but she seems to know her business in this narrow area, I'm not pretending to know what they do. I'm trying to help them look and sound as smart as they are. And part of it is your presentation skills.
You know, speaking of millennials, a lot of millennials are starting to come into the workforce and starting their own businesses. How are their challenges different from those of baby boomers, or are they?
Well, I think we face some of the same ones because you have to figure out what you want to do and how you're going to fund it and who's going to care about it, and do you have a saleable product, service? How will you tell the world about it? But a couple of things that seem to come up in a lot of conversations about millennials is, one, they are facing some crushing debt. We went to college, many of us, but a lot of it was either more affordable, we got better grants, whatever it was that we got luckier at. These kids are coming out with between $60,000 and $150,000 worth of debt. I can't get my head around that fact. It's impossible. So to start a business, you've first got to pay down a lot of debt. These kids are also, a lot of them, moving back home, smartly enough, but I'm not sure I want mine back, reality, because they can live there and perhaps work on getting rid of that debt. But the other thing is that they've grown up in a little bit of a different world. They perhaps like group work a little bit better. They may have been catered to a little bit more by parents. There weren't huge families. A lot of them are onesie-twosies. I don't have all the answers, but I know that a lot of them are as eager as we would have been to start a business, but there were some different challenges.
And a lot of times in the workforce, we have millennials working with baby boomers, and it can be a challenge. Do you think that the two generations can work well together?
Absolutely, with respect. I know that I can handle technology reasonably well. That does not mean that I can handle most of it. Technology to me is still a mystery. I can handle my iPhone, I can handle my computer, but if something goes wrong, I'm in trouble. And I know that I'm going to have to find somebody more adept. Could be somebody my age, but obviously many millennials might have more of it because they came into the world where this stuff existed.
Right.
We are catching up every day. We're playing that game of catch up. Yet we offer wisdom in terms of how to make the world a little bit better, a little smoother, with situations we've seen that they have not yet seen. So yes, I think that we can work together as long as we see the gifts differing that we each bring and want to take care of that.
So most new businesses fail, so it's no wonder that baby boomers might hesitate to start a new venture at an advanced age. Do you have any tips that might help someone who's in that position?
What have you always wanted to do? Because this is the time when you can. When you're young, the fact that you're good at something or you like it doesn't mean it's going to be your career. But looking back, what is it you really want to do? I see people reinvent themselves all the time. Anything from starting a cake decorating business or cupcakes that we've seen in B&I. We've seen that happen. I mean, seriously, cupcakes? Really?
Yes. Who knew?
Well, to embracing technology and finding ways. As a senior, maybe you can help seniors work with technology. If you're actually good at it, that's where your smarts are. Start a business and help the seniors who don't know, who would like to be able to stay in touch with their kids or their grandkids. Maybe the millennial wouldn't be the best choice for some, but a senior might be. Find a market that isn't being served. What are you missing in your life? What is it you'd like to see happen for you, if that's something you can help?
Okay.
Excellent. Just really quickly, do you have any really embarrassing grammar mistakes that you recall?
A sign that had something about a public school. Public has 6 letters. There's an L in the middle. It helps to put the L in the middle of the word public, yes. And that one, versions of that made the rounds on the social media because it's hard to believe that somebody allowed it to be up on a sign for an educational institution.
Oh my Lord.
I know.
Enough said.
Well, Susan, we've come to the end of our time today. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, absolutely my pleasure.
This was fun.
I appreciate being here.
If you or someone you know are a baby boomer who is retreading, we would love to tell your story. You can contact us at twogranniesontheroad.com.
What are your goals and dreams? We want to encourage you to think outside the box.
Step outside your comfort zone and take action to achieve your dreams.
Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to watch for the next episode of
Two Grannies on the Road.